about this bridge, the Simón Bolívar Bridge. It's about a soldier who ran through here. As soon as he arrived here on Colombian soil, he was accompanied by 2 soldiers, and we monitored each desertion. Some are even celebrated by Venezuelans and Colombians who are here on the Colombian side.
Venezuelan soldiers are deserting amid desperation and fear, seeking refuge in neighboring countries to escape reprisals from Nicolas Maduro's dictatorial regime. With the American offensive intensifying and Donald Trump publicly declaring that ground incursions could begin at any moment, officials opposed to Chavismo have decided to abandon their positions before it's too late. There are reports of soldiers fleeing without even taking their belongings, fearing being captured by the regime, as Venezuela plunges into uncertainty about what is to come. Son of Death, with the White House determined to remove Maduro at all costs, behind the scenes, the possibility is growing that the military will hand over the Chavista dictator to the Americans. With the CIA and the Israeli Mossad conducting psychological warfare operations from within Venezuela. The mission of the intelligence agencies is to erode internal trust and weaken the regime's structure from the inside out, preparing the ground for an imminent collapse of the political and military structures that keep Maduro in power. In this video, we will analyze the mass defection of Venezuelan military personnel and how psychological warfare actions can pave the way for the Southern Command's ground operations. Welcome to Life in the Barracks. After Donald Trump announced the United States would conduct ground incursions in Venezuela, a mass exodus of Venezuelan soldiers began, revealing widespread fear in the face of the possibility of direct confrontation. Whole families live in apprehension, aware that authoritarian regimes often turn their own soldiers into human shields, using them as a barrier to protect a political elite that refuses to give up power. This wave of desertion shows that confidence in the Chavista regime is fragmenting, and that the loyalty of the military is no longer enough to sustain Maduro in the face of international pressure. At the same time, the CIA and the Israeli Mossad are intensifying psychological warfare operations inside Venezuela, exploiting the internal weaknesses of the regime. These actions include spreading strategic information, manipulating perceptions, and encouraging distrust among Maduro's own allies, creating an environment of paranoia and ongoing strain. Psychological warfare extends beyond the military, affecting the population by lowering morale and weakening Chavismo's official narrative. With the Southern Command's military apparatus surrounding Venezuela for months, and already having more than 15,000 troops strategically positioned, a ground action seems increasingly likely. The continued presence of Nicolas Maduro in power generates increasing costs for the United States, both financial and human, and it is already raising questions from lawmakers and the American public itself about the effectiveness of this operation. The prolonged siege demands concrete results, and the political pressure within the United States is increasing the demands on Donald Trump to deliver concrete results as soon as possible. The human and financial cost of this mobilization by the Southern Command will only be justified by the arrest or definitive ousting of Maduro. Otherwise, all this military effort will have been wasted, leading to even harsher criticism of the Trump administration.
I'm waiting for you in Mirror Floors. Don't be late, coward. Come for me, coward.
The outcome of this crisis in Latin America is expected to be swift and decisive, avoiding the prolongation of an operation that already consumes significant resources and exposes the United States to international questioning. Here, the actions of the CIA and Israeli Mossad become even more relevant. Both intelligence agencies have already been operating inside Venezuela for months, conducting counterintelligence and psychological warfare actions to undermine the regime from within. The goal is to facilitate a ground incursion, making the landing more straightforward and faster, reducing risks and increasing the chances of success. Convincing Venezuelan military personnel to withdraw support for Maduro is crucial to this operation, as it weakens defenses and enables more effective intervention. The Marine Raiders, which are the operational arm of the United States Marines, are based in Puerto Rico and have been undergoing intensive training for months for landing and capture operations. In a ground operation, they could be deployed with assault helicopters, light armored vehicles, and air support from F-18 Super Hornet fighters, which are also already positioned on the aircraft carrier anchored in the Caribbean Sea. Equipped with precision rifles, light machine guns, night vision systems, and advanced communications, the Raiders would be able to carry out quick and surgical missions inside Venezuela. Support would come from naval fleets positioned in the Caribbean, ensuring logistics, evacuation, and immediate reinforcement, turning the operation into a coordinated, high-impact move against the Chavista regime. Even Venezuelan generals are abandoning Maduro, leaving him without the protection and escort that once ensured his safety. Fear has taken over the dictator, who started hiring Cuban bodyguards for his personal protection and sleeping in a different place every night, showing his lack of trust in his own military. This situation reveals the Chavista regime's fragility, as it can no longer keep its main commanders loyal, increasing opportunities for actions against the government. The maintenance of the regime became unsustainable after the Southern Command intercepted and stormed a Venezuelan oil tanker that was operating illegally in the region.
Venezuela denounced this Wednesday what it called the blatant theft of an oil tanker seized by the United States.
With this action, Maduro realized that not only were his trafficking routes blocked, but also his clandestine oil routes, thus cutting off one of the main sources of funding for Chavismo. With no income, the dictator loses power and can't maintain the military high command's privileges, which was their only reason for supporting him, for luxury and comfort secured by illicit money. This financial weakening accelerates the political and military wear of the regime, making Maduro's fall more and more likely. The CIA intensifies its psychological warfare operations in Venezuela, using infiltration techniques and spreading strategic information to provoke distrust among Maduro's own allies. This manipulation of perceptions fosters paranoia among Chavista leaders, where generals and officers begin to doubt each other, weakening the chain of command and creating room for mass defections. The Israeli Mossad maps escape routes and security gaps in Nicolas Maduro's protection. It also spreads narratives suggesting the dictator is isolated and lacks reliable support. Some Venezuelan military personnel who decided to desert chose to seek refuge in Colombia instead of crossing the border into Brazil, motivated by the fear that the current Brazilian government, seen as an ally and partner of Maduro, could hand them back to the Chavista regime. This fear reinforces the sense of insecurity among the deserters, who see Colombia as a more favorable environment to ensure protection and avoid reprisals, while Brazil is considered a risky territory due to the political relations maintained between the current Brazilian president and Chavismo. Desertions, financial blockades, and psychological warfare together create the perfect conditions for ground intervention, where the Marine raiders could carry out a decisive action that would mark the definitive collapse of Chavismo. We want your opinion. Comment below if you think Maduro will flee, surrender, or resist to the end. Even with American troops landing in Venezuela, at Life in the Barracks, you stay updated on all military news. Leave your like, subscribe, and watch one of the videos appearing on your screen. Forward soldiers, until next time,